Good morning, everybody. Welcome to week 7 of our com235 class. This is Mark Evans, your instructor. This week we're going to move from the Microsoft Excel program that we've been learning over the last few weeks, and we're going to move into Microsoft Access. Now, Microsoft Access is a relational database within the Microsoft Office program, and a database in the simplest terms is a collection of information. Now, as we learn a little bit about the Access program, what you're going to learn is a little bit about how to design tables, how to design queries, how to design forms, and how to design reports. So let's define those things, if you will. A table is just a collection of information. It's very, very similar to an Excel spreadsheet in that it has rows and columns, if you will. But a row in Microsoft Access is called a record. And there's going to be a little bit of different terminology there. A query is simply a question that we're going to ask, if you will. So imagine that we have this table full of information, and we want to ask a question. So we're going to build a query that will pull out the information we want from the table. Other than a query, we have forms. A form is kind of a shell that sits over top of the database that allows us to help our end users input information easier. And then we certainly have reports that we can pull out of Microsoft Access. So why would I use Access instead of using, say, Excel, since Excel can work as a database too? Well, Access is what we would call a relational database. So what we're going to do is use a primary key, and the primary key in Access links all the different parts, if you will, of the database. So for an example, perhaps I have a table that is that lists out all the students at ANU, and the first table just shows their names, maybe their student ID, and their name, address, phone numbers. Maybe I have a second table that lists the classes that you have to take and the grades that you got. Maybe a third table I create would have your financial aid data in it, or your admissions data, things like that. So each department in the college could actually use the table that pertains to them, and as they put that information in, we want it to link to the correct student. So by using a primary key, in this case we would call it the student ID number, that if we make that the primary key, as long as someone puts in the correct primary key or the correct student ID, no matter who puts the information in and no matter what department or location, that information gets linked, and then when we ask questions or we run reports, we get the information that we want. So it's a very, very robust system. You use databases on a regular basis. If you pull up Amazon Prime and shop, or you do some of those kind of things, they're really databases in the strictest sense of the word. So we're going to learn a little bit about those and how to use them. And we're going to start out by designing tables and showing you how we can set those up, and then we'll move on into the other sections. Please take some time to look at the grade book. Make sure that the things that you have zeros on other than discussions, that you're clicking on those and going back and getting them done so that you can get the best grade that you can possibly get. In week 8, we will be having a proctored exam, so keep that in mind. When you come that night, bring your student ID or your driver's license. We'll show you what to do as far as a proctored exam is concerned. Really, really simple exam that we'll get done. Other than that, I think the class is going well. I think their communication's going well. I'm enjoying the discussion posts. So I think you're doing a good job, and just keep up the good work. I'll see you in class.